Hello there, everybody. Welcome to the Lost Ark video. Today is Tuesday, so we're doing the Reddit thing where we look at the top posts over the last week on the subreddit. And I picked out the top posts for this week, just some of them. I don't know if we're going to go through all of them because there's a lot of samey stuff. And I'm sure, as you can tell by the title of the video, it's mostly based on Behemoth, unsurprisingly, because Behemoth just came out. So the first thing on the list was AGS should take Behemoth complaints seriously. This raid was a great opportunity to have an easy and fun, enjoyable encounter for everyone, casuals and hardcore veterans alike, as a break after Theomine Echidna, in preparation for Tier 4. Lowering the entry to 1620 was a good call, but it really seems like the raid is not tuned properly. Just take a moment to think about the newer returning players that just hit 1620. I see so many of them. They could be having fun and getting hooked on raiding with the 16-man raid. Now they are left with a huge barrier to progression. It is truly in everyone's best interest. Behemoth could just be the raid that unites the community for once instead of splitting it. So, I have a couple different thoughts on Behemoth. My initial thoughts on Behemoth, I ran on my Soulfest. Obviously, it was pretty easy, even with the prog. I think we progged it in like 2.5 hours or something. But the group was like everyone's main, so it obviously was going to be much, much faster. I think we literally one-shot Gate 1, and then Gate 2 took like two-ish hours, something like that. But it was everybody's main, so I think that was to be expected. Because I think it's fair to say that Behemoth actually is quite easy if you overgear it to the point where you can one-cycle break wings. If you can do that, the fight is very, very simple. There are still a lot of bullshit patterns that can kill you, but generally, if people aren't eating every single attack and constantly having him spam the enhanced super patterns, it's probably okay. If you one-cycle wings, because your damage will just be high enough for it to not really matter. But what people are complaining about is the 1620s doing it. And they're not wrong. I'll say that. Because we don't really know what it's balanced for. A lot of people are guessing what it's balanced for. 40 set elixirs, full level 7 transcendence, level 10 gems, level 9 gems, whatever. We don't know exactly what the criteria is it's balanced around, but it definitely does not feel very good on a 1620 with just 40 set and like level 3 trans in all pieces, which up until this patch is all we were able to do on those characters. It does not feel very clearable on them. Obviously, you're going to have the outlier people who are very good at the class, but most people are not going to be very good at their class because it's generally going to be alts, and you're generally not super comfortable on the alts, even if you're, like, competent in playing them. There's just a difference between the character that you generally prog raids on versus alt characters, especially item level based, etc. And I think, in my opinion, Behemoth probably is expected for you to have closer to full level 7 Transcendence, which we can do on a 1620 right now, but the characters that were previously 1620, I mean, I know I'm not the best marker for this, but I did not have enough Darkfire to get more than level 7 chest pants on most of my characters. But I also didn't run Theomine every single week, and I also have never bought in a single reward chest from Theomine on any of those characters, just because I didn't give a shit about the Darkfire. But I don't know. Ultimately, what I do agree with is this top comment. I don't know, 16-man content should not be like this. Visual nightmare. Camera angles are so weird, I don't enjoy it. I do not enjoy it either, and it's not because of, like, a difficulty perspective. That was like my main complaint with all my friends that I was talking about, like day 1, day 2, is that it just doesn't feel like it belongs in Lost Ark. Like the raid boss itself does not feel right. I think Gate 1 is okay, but Gate 2 just feels not right. I don't know how else to explain it. The next post is research and the lack thereof. Oh yeah, I remember why I opened this post. I mean, it was also on the top post of the week, but this is a pretty good post because I do agree. So this post is just a guy talking about how they haven't really done anything with the like Stronghold research in a very long time. Because before there used to be honing reductions in the Stronghold research thing, and while it still exists, they haven't increased it at all in a very long time. And there's so many different systems that they could integrate with it, like 40 set, unlocking research +1, that's moving forward, maybe 35 set and 40 set +1, whatever. But basically, just more research, Stronghold research. You reach Transcendence level 7, 1, level 7, 21 grade, then you unlock the research for +1 change turns moving forward. Horizontal stuff, reach 20 island souls, unlock research for 10% increased island soul chance dropping, scaling, question mark. Like, obviously, this doesn't necessarily need to be the exact balance changes that go into Stronghold research, but I think this would be very, very cool to see. They already have the system in the game, for once you do something once, subsequent times are easier. I think this is honestly super simple, and they should have been doing this from the beginning. Because, I mean, fundamentally, it keeps the system how they initially wanted it. You have to go through it normally one time, and then subsequent times are easier. And also, it's not like they need to add the research immediately. You can just add it later on as, like, the quote-unquote targeted nerf. But I did just want to bring attention to this, because I think this is actually a pretty good idea. Sounds like a good idea. So true. I hate Blooming Mokoko's event with all my heart. Fighting over seeds with other players suck. Someone spamming the chat with their 100k jackpot all the time while I get absolutely nothing is one of the worst feelings. Being a giga unlucky player in this game who has never seen an ember over 10k while others are constantly getting 100k seeds is miserable. Please next time just change the whole event for a single person dungeon with random drops from mobs where I can instantly Song of Escape's Hush return so I don't have to encounter other lucky players at all. My god. People are very upset with this event, which is funny because this is one of the events that I really enjoy. I just enjoy seeing everybody running around picking up mokoko seeds. It's just amusing to me. And it's also weirdly competitive for such a stupid event. As far as rewards go, I mean, I don't know. I do think they could have done a better smoothing scale and like make like a pity timer for the jackpot reward. But ultimately, it's supposed to be a silly little fun event. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm definitely in the wrong here, but it just seems weird to get so angry over it. Like, I have gotten jack shit, but I still do it every day because it's a fun little silly event that has a chance of giving me something. I don't know. I think one of the biggest problems with the event is they allow way too many players per channel. I mean, I guess, but like, I don't know. I think the worst part is everyone can see who is getting lucky. It's like a slap in the face seeing everyone else get free gold while you don't. I don't know, man. Oh, this comment was kind of hidden. At this point, if it's bound gold anyways, I don't see the point of them really making it so RNG dependent to actually get anything from it, just making it guaranteed gold in some way. I thought this is what initially they were going to do, because if I'm remembering correctly, when I read the patch notes, it said something like, now that it's bound gold, we can, like, change the values of the rewards or whatever. And it just ended up being the exact same values and the exact same, like, rates, it seems like. So it's just bound, like, the event is just, like, a completely nerfed version in every way, because it's bound gold. Whereas before it used to be tradable, and it was the same rewards. I don't know. Either way, I don't know, man. I just don't think this event is worth getting like that upset over. I don't know. I like it. I like stupid, silly little things like this, though. Even if I get nothing, which I haven't gotten anything, and I continue to get nothing, I don't know. I just think it's fun. I like little community events that show me people play this game. But that's a personal thing, and I'm totally willing to admit that I'm wrong if people really feel that strongly about it. I think it's silly, and I like silly little things that show the game has a community. Behemoth is clearly not item level 1620. This thing requires huge power, even if half the full 1630 team running cheapo trying to break head to fight me. Seems like they lowered the entrance and did absolutely nothing else. A Lamau. I mean, it definitely got their HP reduced. I just don't think it's balanced around 1620s, even with this 25% reduction. Fully agree. At the moment, it's more in a 1630 spot. I mean, I think the only reason why it's a 1630 spot rather than a 1620 spot is just because a 1630 probably has full level 7 Transcendence, right? Because the gains from going from 1620 to 1630 is not that high item level wise, right? But I do agree, I think it's probably balanced for more level 7 Transcendence than most 1620s can reasonably get. Thing is, a lot of 1620s are jumping into Behemoth without doing Transcendence. It is clearable without, but it's tough. Maybe. I think you have to have like a group of 1620s that know how to play their classes too. You don't succeed stagger check and gate 2, the DPS check is super tight. I mean, I've only ran it twice. I tried clearing it on my Arcana too, but I never got a third clear. And I didn't really try clearing it past that with just my friends. I cleared it on my Soul Fist and Soul Eater. But it wasn't too bad on either of those characters. Though the main run, obviously, it's not going to be bad. My Soul Eater was in like a sub-main run. Even though my Soul Eater wasn't like transcended or anything at the time, but Soul Eater is Soul Eater. So I was definitely doing enough damage. Behemoth was down leveled to 1620, but is still tuned for 40 elixirs and level 7 Transcendence. See, this is like the thing that people keep saying. I mean, we'd have no idea what it's actually tuned for, but this would make sense. It makes sense that 1620 content requires 1600 and 1610 systems, but it feels odd when a patch ago those systems were 1620 and 1630 respectively, and now we want to do it on quote-unquote rat alts. Yeah, I mean, I think this week is definitely going to be the worst week for it, specifically because of this. I think a lot of people just didn't do Transcendence on their 1620s because it came out this patch, and I think a lot of people were trying to just get their clears done. So maybe going forward it'll be a little bit better. But we will see. Way too hard for fresh 1620s, period. Yeah, this is for sure. 100%. Been said before, but giving people free 1620s without everything comfortably 1620 raid clearing requires just creates a plethora of problems. Yeah, I mean, it's much more than just an item level at this point. You need so many other things. You need gems, you need elixirs, you need transcendence, you need all this shit. You don't just need the item level. So if you got the item level and you're missing any of those things, you're significantly weaker than somebody else who doesn't. And it's not entirely obvious either. Like, obviously, to a long-term player, it'd be very obvious that elixirs is, like, what, 20% damage or whatever, and transcendence is another 20% damage or whatever, right? But to, like, a brand new person, or, like, somebody who's returning and isn't super familiar with these systems, like, they might know that the systems exist, but they don't know how impactful the systems are. You know what I mean? And I think it's not a good way to do things. But that's an argument for another day. And then, I think this is the last post we got here. Reminder, you have zero rights to complain about the state of the game if you can't be bothered to fill out the player feedback survey. Title sounds harsh, but AGS Smilegate is a company, and companies base their decision on quantifiable metrics, not Reddit comments. I think the game is in a bad place due to Behemoth, Transcendence, Elixir, bots, lack of communication, etc. Let them know in a survey so your concerns are actually left as a part of a dataset for people at AGS Smilegate to make decisions off of, and not one of the thousands of Reddit comments that will likely never be read by the decision makers at those companies. That is all. I do agree. I mean, this is a bit on the nose and direct and probably a little bit blunter than it needs to be. But I do generally agree with this, and that's why whenever the player surveys come out, I always try to tell people to fill them out if you want to give the company a data set that they can literally point at and be like, this is our data, we have this data directly given to us, let's do something about it. If you give them your data and they don't do anything about it, I mean, it's what, a couple minutes out of your day? and at least you know you're doing your part. I don't know. That's how I feel about it personally. Because I do think it is a little ridiculous to expect a company to look at Reddit comments or like a forum board's comments to make changes. Because that's just not how big companies work. I mean, it is what it is. I've felt the same thing for past many moons, and still same fundamental things still exist. I'm not wasting your time anymore. I mean, I get this sentiment too, for sure, but that's why I said, as long as you take your couple of minutes out of your day and fill it out every single time, there's there's nothing else you can really do. And to me, that's enough. Obviously, to others, it's not. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to do it if you don't want to do it, but I do think it's worth mentioning. It is probably the best way to give data that might actually be useful to the company making a decision. Anyways, I think that's it. That's enough of me yapping for today. Thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. Make sure to like the video if you like it. And, of course, subscribe if you want to see more daily bullshit by your boy, me. It's your boy. And as always, consider becoming a member. Thank you to all my YouTube members. You guys are the greatest. I love you all. Blitzel remixed my life. I'm new. It's Biscuits, Andrew, and Diz. I'll see you guys all later. Bye.